immediately kick it off. Probably you already recognize the logo. So that's the new Cowork logo, which was the main. Now my iPad is struggling, which was the main. Yeah. Let me quickly connect it back. We have a session of quality problems or technology problems.
Technology problems.
Yeah,
It
but
seems
wait,
so.
it's now it's going. It's still it just needed to reconnect. I'm almost back at it. Yes, I'm there. Voila, now it's working. All right, so just before the session it worked, but okay. So let's dive in immediately. Right, this is the Cowork logo. And if you look at the Wave 3, Romeo already introduced it a little bit. It's Wave 3 is really all about the shift of how we're going to use Copilot, right? Not for like fast answers that we're using it today. You get a prompt, you get a reply, you use it, you get a document, you create an Excel file or whatever. But it's really going to be a little bit of a change of an ownership. Like if you already have worked with agents, you can recognize that shift already a little bit. But like up until now, when you were working with Copilot, right? It's like I said, you asked, you get a reply, but you are still doing the actual work, right? And then with Wave 3, Microsoft, right, introduced the Cowork, and it stops really from being you in the driving seat. But you're like, it's really actually your co-pilot now because it can do stuff for you, which I will show. So there is like, oh, there is like a mental shift that is going to happen because today we said like, okay, right, we are going from prompting tasks with Copilot or with Cowork. We are going to go into delegating outcomes, meaning the outcome is I want to get a summary of my meeting with this. I got action points, take already action on them, stuff like that, right? We're going to go from one-off answers, right? That's what we have today in Copilot. We're going to go into multi-step work. I will show that as well. It's probably if you already have worked with Cloud in the backend and with Cowork, you recognize the pattern that they will, whatever that you ask, it will break it up into steps, right? So obviously Copilot Cowork does the same. And then we will head from solo productivity, right? We will go into human plus AI. It's important that the human is still in the loop. Like in my skills and in my answer or things that I do, I'm always still doing like sending of emails or deciding on which documents that I'm going to use or edit them. So that's still always the goal. So I think the main part here is we as the human, we set the goal, right? We need to understand obviously a process, but we set the goal, and then based on that goal, right? AI will build the process, and then we will or the steps, right? Process steps, and then we are still in the end, right? We approve what will happen, or we need to set it aside or add more steps depending on that, right? Now I'm hear a lot of questions around the security part, right? Because yeah, it's not OpenAI only anymore. So we can maybe divide it into what is the same. The same is still access control, right? You still need to log in, obviously, with your business account, because then you have, Microsoft or Cowork knows, right, to which settings or to which folders you have access to. Sensitivity labels, still important, right? So if you have sensitivity labels, don't just ignore them, right? Keep on using them. And then, of course, the human, that's still the same, right? Human stays in the loop. But what has now changed? We need to approve, if you want to use Cloud Cowork, right? You need to do a couple of things. First of all, you need to be in the frontier model of Microsoft. Okay, I will showcase how to do everything. Let's maybe switch immediately to the screen. right? So I will go into my screen share. So what you need to do is you need to go into the admin center, right? Go to more applications, log in into the admin center. Just quickly, right, to showcase how we are going to, or to enable Cowork. So you're going to go into Copilot, into settings, you go to view all, and you need to scroll down to AI providers operating in the Microsoft subprocessor. So that's the first step, is to approve. Frontier is the second one. So the first step is to improve, right, and traffic. Here I have it obviously already, right, enabled in my environment. Second step is, right, to become in Frontier mode or Frontier company. We just can look here for Copilot, Copilot Frontier. There it is. Because Cowork is only available in, right, Frontier mode. We can specify specific users. So if you want to test it out, you can always build a user group of people that will be able to build or to test with Copilot Cowork. And then you need to still look for the agent, because Copilot is in a sense an agent, right? You go to all agents. So the third step is then to add the agent. So we go into all agents, where we can search for the Cowork. We click on it. We enable it. I have it already enabled, but here you have then enable. And then it should be within the next coming minutes. Users that are obviously, right, using or that are agreed to use in the Frontier mode can look for it. Then they need to go just into Agent Store, look for Cowork, and open or install it once on their account. When they open it, it will pop up here in the agent section on the left, where you then can pin the agent, because otherwise you need to look for it again. So those are like the 4 or 5 steps that needs to be done. Most of them needs to be done by the admin, but the last one, the fourth step, is then to look for the agent in Cowork, right? That's a little bit like introduction around it. Is that clear for everybody, or are there questions around it? Yes, I assume that's
All good.
perfect. So now let's go into the next one, because now it can be even become a bit more of like, okay, which tool do I need to use? Because we are talking here about 3 tools nowadays, right? We have Microsoft 365 Copilot that handles your everyday tasks, right? So summarizing P&L versus budget in Excel, turn meeting notes into follow-up meeting, right? We know already now what with right M365 Copilot we can already do. So this is really there to increase your individual productivity, right? To make that better. Then the second step, which we have already introduced in a previous session as well, is Copilot agents. With those agents, you can go one level deeper, right? If you have a process that is always the same steps, but it needs a little bit of like reasoning in between, it would be good to have Copilot agents there, because it can be helping to have specialized tasks that are repetitive, to just automate that in a sense. All right. So that's really about the structured, repeatable assistance, we call it. With chatbots or just autonomously in the backend. And nowadays we have Cowork, right? With Cowork, he really does like more the heavy lifting, in a sense of it can scan, for example, your inbox every morning, draft up replies. It can attach a meetings transcript and have Cowork, right, complete all the action items that are assigned to you. So that's a nice one that I'm using on practically a daily basis. But I will showcase that in a minute. So that's really that collaborative execution, right? Collaborative meaning you as a human and AI then in the backend. So we have 3 levels or 3 right tools. So 3 levels of ambition, maybe I would call it. So depending on what your needs are, you can right switch between the tools. But they all have something that they need to run on, right? Because it's still AI. They still need to have instructions. And I guess today, those instructions can be written down into skills. Here in the audience, who has already heard about skills or is working with skills? Put your little hand up, thumbs up, or in the chat. Then I know how deep I can go or should go on skills. Just type it down in the chat if you have worked with it. Not yet. All right, cool. Thanks, Cedric. Any other feedback of people that know what skills are or have already worked with it? We don't have the most interactive audience today. Come on, guys. Just a type away in the chat.
And also, if you want, you can also turn your camera on, so we make this session also more interactive. It's a small group today, so don't be shy, and let's make a nice session out of it.
All right, no, but let's move forward then, because I still have a lot of things that I want to showcase today here to learn about it. Great, Fabrice, thank you. The not in depth. All right, so I'm gonna use a little metaphor for it to explain it a bit. You need to look at it that you're hiring, right, a new employee, right? You don't just show your new employee the tools like, here is your logging, here is your Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, whatever. Now go ahead and start doing or building a client proposal. I mean, that new hire will be like, okay, and what do I need to do now? So the point of a skill is that you are really are building your process, like the steps. You are explaining everything in natural language. That's the most important one. Like how you do your work, how you process, like how you do build that client proposal. Do you use templates? Do you use a certain font? Do you use a language? Do you reuse already stuff that is within your environment? So that's really like how you build up the process, break it down into steps, explain it into natural language mode that then can be used by everything here in the three tools. All right. So even like before skills, because skills is now very mainstream, starts to become very mainstream because of Cowork, right? But you can also use skills into Microsoft 365 Copilot, because there you need to prompt, right? And if you are prompting, you need to re-explain. If you have the same process, you need to re-explain everything again. You can forget something important. So there can be inconsistencies in your output. Well, skills change that, right? Because in skills, you explain the process and the machine always follows the process because it doesn't have intuition, right? So it just exactly follows that process as it should. Now, skills have a couple of characteristics, right? The first one is, like I said, it's reusable. You build it once, you need to update it now and then. I'm a big fan of that, of just updating your skills, right? So you build it once and you can reuse it into Copilot agents Cowork, right? It's native because, it's native in SharePoint, in OneDrive. It's a .md file, plain text that you can edit into OneDrive and SharePoint itself. They announced a big announcement in the beginning of the week. It's multi-step, so you really can describe a full process, not one skill per right step in your process. No, you can just explain the full process and it will follow it exactly as explained. And I said it already a couple of times, it's in natural language, which makes it super convenient and for everybody. You don't need to wait for IT to code something. No, it's just plain natural language that you can build together as a user with Copilot, right? Doesn't need to be Cowork in a sense, but it's just with Copilot. Good question. That's the next one that I was going to say, Cedric, and I'm going to show it in a minute as well. Skills are saved on OneDrive. So again, they're in your environment, okay? So those are your personal skills. You can also have skills that you can share with a team, and then there you can store them into SharePoint. But that's next step. We're not going to tackle that today, but that's another step. So you can save them on your OneDrive in Cowork folder and then skills. If you build one with Cowork, it will be automatically there, or you need to do it manually, create a new folder and add the skill according to the template. So that's a little bit around the skills, right? And then if you have already been in the previous sessions, I have been preaching, let's say, about the GCSE framework. So it's not that we don't need to still know how to prompt, because that's still the foundation of everything, right? You still need to be able, or you still need to brief Cowork in order for it to start working, because then maybe it will reuse or use the wrong skill if you're not able to like brief Cowork exactly how it should. So it's the same with a new hire, right? If it knows then the processes, you still would need to be able to brief it. Like if you need to make that client proposal for which customer, right? How long should it be? What should I include from services that you're going to offer, right? So those are like steps that you still need to be able to say. So the skills is one thing, but the GCSE framework is still something that we need to know for prompting and for briefing. So it's the goal, context, right? Sources. If you have meetings or whatever that you wanna add to it, or emails or Teams chats, and then expectations as well. So that's still important. It's not because of skills that you don't need to be able to know how to prompt. That's still the foundations of everything that you are doing. All right. Good. Let me now head into the scenario. So that's most of the theoretical part that I was going to do. Let me quickly check the question. What kind of object are skills belonging to in the Windows model? What do you mean, Fabrice, with Windows model? Do you mean in what it's stored? Because if it's that, it's in a .md file, so in a markdown file. Maybe Fabrice, if you can explain it like a little bit better, because I don't understand completely what you're trying to say. Maybe unmute. That will be easier. All right. Well, I don't completely understand it, Fabrice. So if you can re-explain it, then it would maybe be easier for me to reply. But I'll gonna head into the demo part. So let's start immediately with the first thing of the day. So I'm a consultant, right? Well, a consultant in a sense of I do workshops, I give workshops, and I need to prepare for them accordingly. So that's a bit like, right? Doesn't matter in which type of consulting that you are still, or you still need to be able to build that, right? So what I'm going to do is I get an email from a customer that asks me, okay, we have a workshop. There is a little bit of content, like of who we are, what we want to do, what we want to achieve, what we want the people to walk away with. We have about like 90 minutes. Group will be around 80 people, mix of, right, those type of people. And it's a company that is in the logistics world. So what I mostly start with doing is I just head over into researcher mode, because that's one of the agents. So first of all, like I said, I'm gonna now go into the Microsoft 365 environment. I'm gonna just do it with Microsoft 365 Copilot. So the first step in my process is I do that research, right? So I do this research of the operational profile of the Belgian logistics sector. I reference the email in, and then I hit on go. I'm not going to do that now. Why? Because it will take like 5 to 10 minutes. So I have prepared this exact prompt, and I will showcase it here. So I will go through it. It's the exact same prompt. Yep. Here as above, as you can see, summarize operational profile of a Belgian logistic company, etc. I linked it to the email that was in my mailbox. And now with researcher, and because I have traffic enabled in my environment, it's by default, it will use GPT, so OpenAI model, to start looking for the information. And then Claude will refine the answers. So that's also a big update that happened a couple of weeks ago. That's the auto model. You also have a second model, that's a model council. There you will have GPT, so OpenAI and Claude, or in traffic, will look for the answer both at the same time and give you the option to choose from. Okay. So now I did research on the Belgian logistics sector, workflow bottlenecks, where I can build my scenarios up from, give me a lot of more information around it. What I mostly do then is build like some type of an infographic, let's call it, and I check with the customer if those really are like the bottlenecks that he or she sees, right? So that's what I ask them. Click on the infographic, and here is the infographic one. So then it just starts building with Claude and the backend. I mean, you recognize, if you have been working with Claude, you recognize a little bit the setup. So it will give me my 5 bottlenecks, exactly what I've asked for in my prompt. So I double check that with the customer, and then I start building my workshop. Now, how do I do that? I head over into Word, because together with this infographic, I'm also doing a workshop brief that I built. Yeah, I've already prepped it, obviously, but I can build it like this in agent mode, because the agent modes in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint have been updated 2 weeks ago, and I must say it's pretty impressive. I have the feeling I'm frozen. No, I'm back. So it's pretty impressive. So if you go into Word, make sure you are in Allow Editing, because then you are in agent mode. Microsoft renamed it again 2 weeks ago into Allow Editing. So I will draft a one-page workshop preparation brief. I will reference that email that I just got. Thursday, workshop Thursday, a few things you need to know. Voilà. So that's that one, that email that I got. The researcher outputs, I'm gonna reference pages. It doesn't want to, so I will just add it. Work content. I'm gonna add pages. I'm gonna look for it. SMB. Yes, this one. Voila. So that's the page that I just built as well. So it will now head over and build me in my brand template. Normally it should look for it. It will now build up my workshop brief that I can then send together with my infographic to the customer to ask for the confirmation if that is enough. So now it's building it up. As you can see, it will come up with the client context that I asked, some key pain points, so recommendations that we have, and then the preparation that we still need to do before Thursday. So the client context, it got that from the email and from a little bit of research that we did, right? Key points are one of those 5 big bottlenecks that it found. And then what we still need to prepare. What I prefer to do when we have the full output, I like to do like some type of review, because AI is not always that that good. I mean, so what I do then is just write this. Where did my prompt go now? Review this workshop brief. If you talk a bit more about skills, and if you go a little bit further, I also have a couple of skills for anti-AI writing and stuff, so we can use that as well. But here now I'm asking it like this, and then we can just build up an email again on the reply that we received, add the document, and send it out to the customer. We can do that as well. How do we do it? We go into chat, and we just ask specifically here. This is the email that we got, so the Thursday email, right? I built a Word file as well that I will attach, and please draft an email with a question or with saying that we are in preparation mode, that this is what we are going to showcase, if this is enough or if they are missing something out. I prefer to talk to my systems as well. So then I just open this one. This is a document that I just built. It did not create yet the title. And then it will just put the email in my draft folder of Outlook. Voilà. So now it will start building up that email, and it will put it into Outlook in my drafts, and then I will be able to send it out. Yep, got the right one. Cannot directly save. That's weird because it did it, but that's fine. Email draft. And then you can send it out into Word. Draft it here so I can send it from here. Normally it should open up, but you know, in demo mode it always does not work. So let's see. So normally you would be able to send it out from here. It first drafts it, and then yeah, it doesn't do. There it is. Voila. So you can add the email address that you want. You can still add stuff or remove stuff that you want, and then you can just open it up in Outlook or send immediately. It's grayed out because I don't have a to in or send to in. So this you can immediately go from Outlook. Now, maybe it's a process that you recognize, but as you see, it's still a process that you need to have a couple of steps switch between a couple of tools. Now, if we're going to do this with Cowork, you can do full delegation mode. So I have a prompt here prepared where we just do exactly the same. So let's go or head over into the Cowork agent. I have here this prompt, right? It's exactly the same, right? The workshop brief, goal, 9 minutes workshop, what you need to deliver, a research summary, 1-page Word workshop, a brief, and a client confirmation, and put it in my draft email folder. I will link, right, the oh, I did it. I will link the email again, Thursday, as a context. And then I will just click go now. But again, I have prepared it because it takes a while to do it, a couple of minutes. So this is, right, you recognize it, exactly the same prompt. I referenced the email as well. And that's now, if you have already worked with Claude, it will do now exactly the same here in that panel on the right. It will show you where it breaks down whatever you have asked. It will break it down into steps. And then you can see when it goes through all the steps, you can see where it is. Then it also will use a couple of skills, right? So my brand system, because I specifically asked it, right, is my own skill that I've built for that. And it built me as well the output that I've asked specifically. So the research summary, that's right. If you click on it, it will open up. So that's the Word file that it built with all the bottlenecks that we have. Top 3 documents, right? It used my color, my fonts I see, which I specifically asked as well. I have that workshop brief, so that's almost the same one, right? That we have built with Copilot or with Word agent mode. You have it here, and then that infographic is built as well, exactly as I asked for. So we always need to open it up like this. It will download it and then open it up. So this is, right, a little bit of a workshop research snapshot HTML dashboard that you could like send out. It's a little bit more, right, than what we have built into Copilot, but this is how you could send this one out. And normally now, if I look into my drafts, right, the call to Sophie or the email to Sophie is now in my mailbox. Quick confirmation for Thursday. I'm locked in 90 minutes and an open question that I still have. So here you could attach the HTML file or the Word file as well for it to work with. As you can see, this is really, it just does it for you and you can walk away, because here it will again explain what it's doing in the meantime. And that's the big advantage from when you compare it with just the manual steps. Well, manual, with just the steps that you still need to do with Copilot. With this, you can just let it run. You can run multiple coworks at the same time, multiple tasks at the same time, and you can just do something else, right? Is that a little bit clear for everyone? Yes, Cedric, thanks for putting on the video. Love it. Amazing. By the way, again, if you have questions or you want to see something else or whatever, or you have I don't know, a doubt around something, just put it in the chat. I have it open here on the left. Right, so that's like a use case which I recognize at my customers as well if they need to research for a project or for whatever. And now we can actually go into something else, which I like to do, is organizing my mailbox or like arranging my week. Okay, we are now Thursday. Okay, but we can still try it out and see what will happen, right? So help me organize my week. I will already click, so it's going. Review my calendar, right? And then before taking any changes, ask some clarifying questions. Ask me who my manager is, etc. And then it will give you actually some options from your calendar, from your emails, to which you need to still reply to, or double meetings that you have booked. I've put a couple in, so let's see, right, what it will do. And that's also something because, right, it takes most of the time a little bit of time when you ask certain tasks to Copilot. Yeah, you can go to the toilet now, or you can grab a coffee or some water, right, and just let it build in the meantime. Maybe a little bit of like what I'm doing while it's building. I have a skill built where when I put a summary of a meeting in, it will, or when I put, sorry, a transcript of a meeting in, it will summarize it, build a Word file out of it, save it with like date and customer name, and then it will start already take actions on the stuff that I've said in the meeting that I will do. Like an example that I had from this morning, I would need to make a content piece for Cowork. I explained it already a little bit and agreed with the customer what it would be. And then afterwards, Copilot just built it for me, and I had it ready 5 minutes later when I was already in another meeting. It was just building that in the background. So now, as you can see, it analyzed my calendar, right? A couple of events, day by day load, which I asked specifically as well. Some focus time that I still can add or not, and some conflicts that it had, and other observations. So now it will ask me specifically, okay, what's actually your right top priority of this week? I want to have like the event next week that I still need to prepare for. My manager, none of these meetings involve my manager because I don't have a manager. And conflicts, propose fixes for all three. My boundaries is 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. I want to pick up my kids, and my workouts are also pretty important. And Monday, it's my birthday, so I don't want to work on Monday because I decided that this week. So I still have a meeting on Monday, so I will need to decline that. So now I just have Copilot work it up, and it will be able to do those actions for me as well. So it will decline the meeting. It can come up with new dates. Thanks, Cedric. So it will do that, right? So, right, to find the event on the 4th on Monday, to decline it for my birthday. So it will propose what I can say. So, and this really helps me to prepare my week a bit more, prepared, I would say, and just not as the switching between the application, because what I mostly did was like, okay, I went through my Outlook, checked my meals that came in. All right, do I need to have some extra prep for other meetings that came in? Then went into my Outlook, then checked Teams. So there is a lot of stuff that I need to do, right? So here it's proposing changes, right? So what I need to do, like with the red, green light type of information that it gave you. So it says here, like what you want to start with. Move Lotte to Friday, decline on Monday, GM sync, do all 5 in order, or not yet, let me just adjust. Well, I'm not going to do it now because I still want to like actually read it through, which we're not going to do now. But you could just ask it here, and it will do it. I will actually do this one, the first one, because that's a fake meeting that I've added. So I had a one-to-one with Lotte. She's in my company, and I will move that now to Friday because I had a double meeting. So we'll just let that happen, and Copilot will do it. So as you can see, it will move it to Friday morning, 9:45. So let's go into my agenda. Here was the internal meeting with Lotte. As you can see, at double booking with Build a Workshop for CEOs. So if I go back into my Cowork, it will here update the event. I click on update it, and it is doing that now for me in the backend. So let us double check. And as you can see, it changed now to 9:45 exactly after my workout and in between the workshop that I need to prepare. So this is like, right, now we can go to the next one if you want to decline it, if you want to move forward. So it really like helps you in preparing you for the week. Clear for everybody? Yes. All right, cool.
If I understand well,
Yes.
let's say I am having a meeting with a client, and
Mhm.
afterward, Copilot is going to take the description and the transcript of the meeting. And if during the meeting we are discussing that we are planning, let's say, a meeting for the next week at that day to some hour, it will already prepare the team's invitation, and you just need to double check and then send it to the client.
If you have a skill built for that, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like the example that I gave, I will do it here. So it was actually a call with Romeo and Michiel that we had yesterday, I guess, right, Romeo?
Yeah.
So I put in, right, the full meeting discussion that we had in Dutch, and then I added here a prompt, again, how I talked with it, right? And I've built this meeting action plan and my brand system prompt, so it automatically took or knows like which, right, skill it needs to use. So that's why it's still important to understand what you actually want to do, because the system doesn't know automatically which skill it needs to use, or it takes a best guess. So that's why it's really good to say, use this skill now for to do this. And I explained it here. So then if we scroll a bit down, because it was a long meeting, up. So that's all, right, the meeting. Then it just went into plan, right? So I did this in between meetings. I just dropped this in and it started building. So one of the things that we discussed is building that one pager for Cowork, and it just exactly built it for me, and an action plan that I wanted to build and a one pager. So I'm testing some stuff which is not relevant here now, but let me open up the HTML that it's just built for me without me being there or giving extra instructions. I just explained in the call how I thought it should look like, and it exactly built it for me like this. In my fonts, in my colors, in, yeah, whatever I did. And then I did ask as well to give me an example skill. It took one from my skill folder and explained it here. So that's that meeting summarizer one that we are now just discussing, and it just did it automatically like that.
That's good.
So that's why it's still important to know, to understand what you're doing in the first place, because you need to be able to explain it to Cowork or to Copilot, so we are able to, or that it's able to build it for you.
Okay, thanks.
Right. Another one that could be of interest, like today, if you're right managing your mailbox or you just start the morning, you can ask here to Copilot. Yeah, I'm just gonna ask something. Summarize my inbox and give me a prioritized action list for today and tomorrow. Right, give me 3 categories of emails that needs to reply today. Emails that need action but are not urgent, and emails that can wait. Give me maximum 5 items. I flag anything that are from clients or internal first. So that's a prompt, right? How we are, or how I'm doing it most of the times as well. You can obviously go into Outlook as well, but I prefer being here because then I can easily switch and build some other stuff related to it as well. Voila, so I got a couple of them that we can go to, like need to reply today, needs action but can wait. So we got a couple of those, right? And then we can specifically ask, draft me an email to, yeah, Matt Barker, I'm gonna say here now because that's a newsletter. Draft me an email to Matt Barker asking what his way of working is. Then Copilot will do that accordingly, because it's good at that, right? as you can see, just right, did it exactly here as I wanted, put it here, the 2, because it got that from the email, and then you can send it out. So these are really like good use cases, because with this you only need the Copilot license, so you don't need to have Anthropic enabled, because I understand, maybe we haven't touched upon this, that if Anthropic is enabled, your data can leave the EU or will leave the EU, because Anthropic doesn't have European data centers yet. So that's why you need to accept Anthropic as a subprocessor of the data. And I can imagine, or I understand that certain industries are heavily regulated in terms of GDPR and data security and data governance. So I completely understand that. But that's why it's also good from Microsoft that they give you the opportunity and the possibility to only have a couple of users test it out, to build already those use cases, because I'm quite sure, and I had some conversations with Microsoft already, that soon, there isn't a timeline yet, because we all know Microsoft, that soon Anthropic will have European data centers, so then our data will stay within Europe, right? But again, that's why I'm always showing that you can do it in Copilot as well with some extra steps, or you can do it in Cowork, where it just fully automates everything that you want. So again, this is just Copilot. You can edit the email as you want, and then you can immediately send it out from the Copilot chat interface as well. Now, if we would then link this into, right, Copilot or in Cowork, sorry, you can click on Organize My Inbox. Please review it, and it will do exactly the same, right? I have already done one, which is pretty interesting, to just ask to go through my mailbox and to unsubscribe me from all newsletters that I didn't open in the last 2 months or something like that, which are quite a lot, I noticed. So it does that as well. So you can build up rules from Cowork as well, right? Good. So that's a little bit around the Cowork, how we can do stuff, some scenarios. I got one more, which is pretty interesting, and I showed it as well last week to some CFOs. So we have some sales data, and we're gonna play around with the agent mode in Excel, because that got an update 2 weeks ago, which is pretty amazing. Let me delete all these, because that's still from the previous one. Yes, so what I got here is sales data, right? So from the month, sales rep, region, product category, revenue, costs, etc. So if you open up Copilot here in the right top, and again, make sure that you are in allow editing, you can do a couple of analysis ones, like this one. I want to that's a prompt that I had already prepared. Is I want to analyze our sales data for the last 18 months and give me an executive overview. I want to present this to the management next week. Normally it will build a new one, so I got it already prepared for, right, demo issues that we normally always have. So I will just let it build a couple of seconds, and if it takes too long, we will go ahead. So I want to have total revenue and gross margin by quarter, which product category grew the fastest, which sales rep is underperforming versus the team average. So, right, it will do a lot of steps. It will use Python in the backend to start analyzing data, to start building pivot tables and everything. So most of the time it takes some time. And since I had already that executive sheet, right, I just added one thing. As you can see here, it builds up, or it has built this full executive dashboard. And it took me back then when I tried it this morning, it was 5 minutes. I'm not an Excel expert. For me, this would take like forever to build this. It already gave me some key insights as well, some notes on the region with the lowest revenue, gave me some graphs that I could reuse into a PowerPoint. So this is really like much better and much easier to do so. Now you can also let it build new tables or columns. So here I'm just going to ask, please add me a new column in the sales data sheet where we are putting which language the customer is talking. So please base yourself on the region and put there if it's Dutch or French. So because I got the question from the last session, for this one, for the talking, I'm using Whisperflow. It's pretty awesome, pretty good. Also has an application for the mobile. So pretty convenient. You can just talk and it will paste it everywhere or where your cursor is. And it's pretty convenient. So now, as you see, it builds it up, which said like, okay, these regions are this language, which is correct. And then Hainaut is French. So then we got here, Hainaut is in French, and then all the rest is in Dutch. So that's a pretty easy one. I know, I understand. You can create pivot tables. I had in the CFO session, one of the CFOs asking it because it didn't work with the previous agent or agent mode in Excel. So if you had not a good experience with this, just retry it again because it's much better. So now we have, this executive dashboard. Now the big difference that I want to show now, if we go into Cowork and just ask exactly the same, right? And I've built actually a skill for that because I just need to run my weekly sales dashboard, and I will reference the SMB sales demo data, and it will start building up my HTML.
Yeah, Cedric is joining again.
And now it will run it up. So as you can see, I got a skill here, weekly sales meeting. After this one, I will show you how to build a skill and where it's saved. So don't worry about that. Everybody is crashing today, I see.
Yeah.
Everybody has updates crashing, technology issues. Like that's good. Because I see my screen is also pretty bright, right?
Yeah, it is actually.
That's normally not the case as well. So, I mean, I joined the issues. So blah, it's building, right? It's again the process, breaking it down into feasible steps, which is it doing now. I'll just run it or let it run a couple of seconds. Does anybody in the meantime have a question around Cowork, skills, prompting, agents? Please put them in the chat or unmute yourself.
I have a use case question.
Yes.
So I'm mostly performing security audits for customers.
Yes.
And I'm gathering a lot of a wide variety of documents type, PDF,
Yes.
HTML reports, CSV exports, etc., etc.
Yep.
At the moment, I'm using Copilot, condense them and get a consistent report.
Yeah.
The new Cowork mode could help me improve this method, and how could it do that?
What I would, well, yes, because this is I won't say it's easy, but it's in terms of a process. In terms of a process, it's pretty easy, right? You receive data, you need to redo it in whatever output you want to have it. So it's like 2-3 steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is for that, I would build a skill.
Okay.
I would use already the input that you have, like give it context, right? Give it context to Copilot, as in all the different types of formats that you get it, and then also have the outputs that you exactly want. And then you can say or explain like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is all right from the support, all the inputs that I get. This is the output that I generate from those reports. So please now I want to uniform this process or I want to build it into a skill. guide me into building the skill, ask me questions, important one to always do that, right? Ask me questions, and then you can build together that skill. And then if you don't have Cowork, if you just have, well, just now you can say just, but if you have a Copilot license, then you can just add the input that you got from a customer, add the skill, and then just let it run, and it will build you the output that you want.
Okay.
Yeah. And with Cowork, it will then be easier because you don't need to specifically add the skill like manually. You can just add it in Cowork and let it run in the backend, and you can do something else.
Okay. I see.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then if you even look at it from an agent perspective, right? Because there are a couple of perspectives and then how you could look at that, right? So you could have like an agent life that if you get I assume you will get that input through an email, right?
Or usually I generate them myself. I connect to the customers and then
like
I
that.
store this in my OneDrive.
Okay, yeah. Or you could have it on well, depending on the process, again, maybe an agent here is not necessary because it's just one manual step to, if you create it yourself, to just add it then into Cowork or into Copilot. Like if it was the case that you got it from an email, you could just send the email to the agent and the agent does it for you. That's also a possibility.
Okay.
Using then the skill that you have already built, right?
Okay. I see.
Okay, so now it's taking me a long time. I will just go into my sales. I did it right. Yes, that's the same prompt that I did here. If it wants to open up, obviously it's not doing it. But this is a progress. I see that my sales dashboard is already ready, so I can do that, right? I can open it up, give me my sales dashboard. As you can see here, again, it used my colors, it used my font, right? It gives me what I wanted to have because I explained that in my skill. And here I can filter then. I want to just have it for January. I want to compare January, February, 2025, 2026 to each other. Reset all filters. So here you have, again, everybody. So those are like, interactive dashboards instead of an Excel one, which you can then use in your meetings, sales meetings, whatever you have. And since you have built a skill, you just need to add the data and it will automatically build this dashboard then for you, always in the same format, same use case, same fonts, whatever, because those are the skills that are used here then. And I also asked to build in my skill is to build that 5-slide summary, which normally you should go then into Excel, save it out. And this is then the weekly sales performance that it built because I asked it to use, right, or to build 3 slides out of it. And that's about it. Now let me open that up because I want to showcase something else there then in agent mode for PowerPoint as well. So if you open up Copilot, probably you have seen it that new image models were launched from OpenAI. So we have them in Copilot as well. So if you go here into image model, you can select GPT image 2. So that's the new one, right? So I can ask here, please add some like some images related to the topic in the background. They don't need to be too much in your face for every slide. And then it will start adding, probably it will ask me a couple of questions, which you will recognize from, if you have already used it in ChatGPT. And it will start adding some images. I will quickly just go back because I got this one here. That's the one that I prepare, to speed it up a bit. I had exactly the same, right? You recognize it, and I asked to edit the images. So just in the background, it added those subtle images. Then it's not the purely white background anymore, right? It just gave me related to the topic because it's around sales, it's around dashboards, right? It added this into the background. So it's pretty good, pretty convenient. Test it out because that's pretty new into it. All right. Cool. So now the last thing that I will show here is how to build a specific skill. Thinking about, because I built already my weekly summary, right? Help me build a skill, because when I need to prepare for a customer, I always do research first of the customer. Then I look for information in my email, in my Teams chats, on my OneDrive, on my SharePoint, for maybe colleagues that have already shared stuff around the same customer. Then I build up in Word a summary of that research that I've done. Ask me questions first if something is not clear. After that, let's start building the skill and save it into my OneDrive. So that's now an easy skill, right? It's just for the sake of demonstration. Now it will piece it all together. If it has questions, it will ask it before it starts building. All right, output format. Yes, I want to have it in a Word file. That's good. Research scope, company overview, and recent news, key people contacts, past interaction. I want to have it all four. Suggest discussion. Yes. Customer input. I want to have prep me for Contoso. Yeah. Well, because that last question is then when Cowork will know to use the skill, because you need to use certain sentences. So then it knows, okay, I need to use this skill or I need to use that skill. That's what it specifically asked here. Right, it gave it already a name. So we're going to build the customer prep skill. And for that, it will already use an internal skill Copilot has, because it's like built in. You have 21 skills already, and one of them is skill management, right? So it will follow this skill to build my new one. So what it always does, it will give you in Markdown file, in the Markdown sentences, it will give you exactly what, right, you described, what it needs to do. So customer prep, the input, I'm going to give the name of the company, right? And optional, if I have meeting context or whatever, I can add it already into the prompt. Where was I? When not to use it, voila, workflow. You can go through it, you can read it, see if this is exactly what you want or not. Right. For me, it looks good. Skill is good. Let's build it. So it will already as well give you here like how the workflow goes. So what are the exact steps that it will do? So now it will build it. I will open up my skills folder, which is here. I got already a couple of in myself. So now it's setting up the folder in this folder. So you will see it popping up in a second like that. So it will validate the skill. It will also build, which is pretty good if you want to share skills across the company. It will also within 35 seconds. All right. It's actually weird because yesterday it built a skill analysis as well, which it didn't do now. Let me do it like this. Takes a bit longer again, right? Than 35 seconds. That's a good one. Yeah. But let's just try it out. It's not here yet. You know what? Let's try it out because it says is there. So prep me for, and Cedric, I saw you are from Easy. So prep me for customer Easy from Belgium. Let's see if it will recognize the skill. Normally it should, but that's typical in a demo. So let's give it a couple of seconds to see if it's specifically using the right. Yes, you see here, that's the skill that we had built here on the right. Will it already be? Yeah, it's not there yet, so maybe it will just need to link. So now, as I ask to the skill, check for existing easy content already on my SharePoint and whatever which is there, build me a briefing document, and then as well research easy externally and again internally as well. So it's now doing that. Which is correct because I don't have any contact with Easy, so it's normal that I don't have any anything popping up. So that's already good because otherwise we would shout hallucination. So it's drafting my document, and then in a second it will pop up into the output folder, and then we can run through it as a demo to see. It's not yet here. Super weird. But it did find it, so that's good.
If you have any questions or remarks, don't hesitate to put it in the chat again.
At this moment, it's only using ChatGPT, or it's also working in cooperation with Claude?
This is only Claude. This is not ChatGPT.
Ah, this is only Claude, yes. Okay.
Yeah, Cowork is only Claude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can see here on top, right? If you select auto, you can only select
Yes.
Claude 4.6 or 4.7. Yeah.
I believe we don't have access to Claude Mythos.
Nope. Nope. Only Sonnet and Opus. Maybe that will come in the future, I don't know. But for today, that's the only availability.
Okay.
So it's building it, maybe because of the first time. It takes a while.
Or
As
because
always.
It knows that it's the last day of the week as well.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we have a holiday here as well on tomorrow.
Tomorrow as well. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing with Cowork, because if you compare it with Copilot, if you had something like this and it takes a long time, you cannot switch to anything else within the application, or it will maybe lose the context or stop, right? So this is the main advantage with then Cowork as well. You just let it run in the backend. You start doing something else, and while it does your research for you, you can have already a talk, or like I said, coffee or whatever you need to do. And then if you come back, it will be here. So I will open it up. And this is the research that it did. It did not use my my college and fonts because I forgot to put it in the customer prep. So I will need to edit the skill, which is also super easy here in Cowork. So yeah, executive summary. Let me quickly check. Cedric, are you guys a Belgian mid-market IT powerhouse or not?
Yes. Well, we have data centers.
Thomas van Eekhout, yeah, that's true. Thought it was the same.
Mostly a service company.
Yeah. Founded, yeah. So you see, founded, HQ, what they do, full stack IT partner, portfolio splits. Okay. So I mean, this is stuff that you can take with you if you prepare for a first meeting, right? And okay, this is it's a very easy skill now built, right? I would put in some more details that I want specifically when I prepare for a customer, for example. This is pretty easily just to showcase to you, right? So you can go pretty far in your skills building as well. So it already like helps me, right, with open questions, and it gives me obviously the sources where it got the information from. So voilà, that's it's mostly what I had prepared as for use cases. Are there any more questions related to this topic?
When will it be available?
It is already available, but your admin needs to, needs
Up to
to,
my admin.
yes, because your admin just needs to do the steps, like I said. But again, because it's Entrophic in the backend, you need to be sure that you're okay with having your data leaving the European boundaries. That's
Okay.
that's the only part. Because
Understand.
I don't have anything special in my tenant. I'm just a normal tenant, and I just accepted Entrophic, be in the frontier mode, and looked for the Cowork agent like I showed in the beginning, and that's about it. Then you have access to Cowork. So that's the only thing that you need to do. Let me quickly switch to the last part then that I wanna showcase. Just closing reflections, I think, which is still it's Cowork, but it's also Microsoft 365 Copilot. So just in the full front of it, if you want to start with Copilot, or if you're already pretty used in using it, but you want to like extend it to the team, ask it to just pick, right, one recurring task that is coming back once a day. Can we maybe mute Philippe Romeo?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Pick one task that is recurring, because those are the good ones to start using AI, right? Copilot, Copilot Chat, Copilot, or Cowork, right? Map it from the beginning, or if you have a process, right? Map that process from the beginning to the end. Identify, right, where AI can help, and then decide obviously on the right toolings, because like I said, we have now 3 tools. So depending on what you really need, you can just use one of the 3 or 4 tools that we have available. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for listening and for being here from my part, right? So if you want to have some more information around Copilot, you can always subscribe to my newsletter or add me on LinkedIn. I have here a small QR code. If you scan it, you can give me some feedback on the session. That's always highly appreciated. And with that, I give the floor back to Romeo, who will close the session with a couple of more information from Arrow perspective.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Vincent. Let me share my screen back again. Does everyone see the screen?
Yes, see perfectly.
Amazing. So thank you again, Vincent. It was very interesting, and I have to say that I find that the results with the new dashboard, like the sales dashboard, the PowerPoint as well, you can clearly see the difference in quality, and output compared to Copilot a few months ago already. So huge improvement on that side, definitely. And of course, also the skills. I find it quite impressive to see clearly what is the added value. When you are able to already prepare, in a very simple words, the Copilot to work for you already while you're doing something else, and just basically, gain a lot of time, improve your daily work just by adding a few instructions and skills in this way. So yes, for all the participants, if you're an IT admin or if you know who manages your Microsoft 365 environment, I definitely encourage you to have a look at those features, activate them, and it's also important, for the companies, for the organizations in general, to work out which cases, which tasks are best approached with Copilot, and investigate those new features as well. Now, our advice, as always, is if you have any doubts or don't really know how to go further from here with Copilot or with Cowork or other functionalities, just always ask Copilot. It remains your discussion partner, your personal assistant, so you can always ask him questions about the things that you do on a daily basis. So it also gets to know you better, right? And you can even ask Copilot, for example, to ask you additional questions that can help you better assess the direction you might want to take. This is something often that we don't really think about, but it's very important to keep that in mind as well. And then you can, of course, take a few steps back and consider which tasks or processes you can visualize, break down, simplify using Copilot. And even for those who don't yet have the paid license. So if you have a Copilot, if you already have a Microsoft 365 license, don't forget that the free version, the secure version, Copilot Chat is already available for you. And in our view, and Vincent will definitely not disagree with me, this remains the starting point for all organizations, right? When it comes to using a secure AI tool, adopting already an AI model with Copilot Chat is definitely the go-to model. So make sure that Copilot Chat is properly set up within your organization, or guide your clients on how to start using it already by showing them that. And there are already many scenarios that can be handled using the free version of Copilot Chat, and we've already had a session on those. But speaking of Copilot Chat, don't forget as well to subscribe to our last webinar of this Copilot series that will be about new cases, new business, real use cases with Copilot Chat, the free version only. And over the past few months, we've organized other webinars covering a number of use cases for both the paid version, the free version, even the agents as well in Studio. So if you haven't been able to follow those webinars, we will share them with you and send them over so that you can watch them at your own time and convenience. And last but not least, we also prepared, as usual, the Copilot quick guides, which are step-by-step explanations of how you can apply certain use cases yourself in a very simple way. So I want to thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Vincent, for those very interesting cases. And if you have any further questions, need personal guidance, don't hesitate to contact me or my colleague Michiel. And I wish you already a lovely weekend, long and sunny weekend, I hope. And I hope to welcome you back in our next session.
Thank you very much. Ciao, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.